Yo, what's up, everybody? I finally decided to make some content. Hold on one second. Wealth gap, capital, precursor, precursor. Oh, tech infrastructure. Okay, sorry guys. This is my ADHD kicking in, but it'll be worth it if you watch it. I mean, you can kind of get a gist of it already from what I wrote up top. But I need to get these main points out of the way. Anyway, so man, if you know me, I'm not gonna sit here and try to prove it all. That's gonna take forever in a day, and you probably won't believe me anyways. But I made some really unbelievable predictions. I'm probably at like a 90% like accuracy rate on the wildest, craziest fucking predictions ever. A 90%. Like this isn't me like predicting like like a game or something that's very obvious. Like these are like really wild, fucking unbelievable, astonishing ass predictions in like 90% rate. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to capitalize the best on every single one, which sucks. It's like knowing the lottery numbers and then not being able to play the lottery, and or when you tell people the winning lottery numbers, nobody ever plays it because they don't believe you. But it's like a gift. It's like a curse. It's like a gift and a curse. Anyways, never made content. I do have like a one forum thread I made a long time ago. I think that was on code, but everything else I didn't. It's all like private chats or like group chats and shit like that. So not really too much documented. So I figured, man, hey, might as well make something. Um, might as well, uh, might as well get something actually in the books. Anyway, so a few days ago, 10:15, I don't know what it is now. It's probably still in the 43s, but 43.27 was the S&P, and 2029 is going to be 10K. A little precursor to that, I think this is very macro, right? This whole thing is very macro, but just speaking in a little more midterm time frame is that, especially specifically with the S&P, is that right now I think I would be buying everything from this dip correction or whatever you want to call it until it keeps going down 3,900 or whatever. I don't think the market's going to crash anymore after that. A lot of people are calling for a market crash. A lot of people are calling for economic disaster. They're calling right now depression and all this other stuff. It's not really that, right? Um, it's amazing how some people are really calling right now depression. Um, and the golden rule is a recession. You might know somebody. Yeah, like nobody's without the jobs and stuff. It just doesn't match up to risk to depression right now. I forgot what the classical saying is, but it's something relating to that. It's from knowing somebody who doesn't have a job to your brother or somebody in the actual family doesn't have a job because the unemployment is that crazy. But anyways, how everything's whippy crazy like that, right? It's some things are doing really really great and some things are doing really really bad, which is all kinds of wacko crazy that we never seen before, except 90 to 100 years ago. Right. So it's the same conditions. Um, and I think everybody has a fear right now, which very well could be. Um, for sure, some industries or something's might gonna take a hit, might break a little bit, but I don't think it's gonna be an economic disaster. Got too many good things, too many solid foundations going on in different parts. So, with that said, rich is going to get richer, poor is going to get poorer, and that leads me into my next topic. Actually, let me reverse. So before this, S&P 10K, I would get into it right now. I'd be buying stuff up, shares, and just holding it for the long term. Reason being, after I connect all the dots and stuff like that, I think Trump is actually going to win the presidency in November. Right now, he's in a bunch of trials. I think some trial in Georgia or some just started. He hasn't even started the other trials in New York that he's been indicted for and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I don't think people are really taking it serious that he's going to become the next president because he has so much legal trouble right now. But I think all those is not even going to matter when it comes down to it. Because in March, he's going to become the GOP primary candidate. And once that establishes in March, the market's not ever going to come back down ever again. And of course, when he wins the election in November, but um, Before he got elected last time, the markets ran up previous to during the election year. And basically it was all on an assumption or presumption as well that, hey, this guy's a businessman. If he becomes the president, the markets are gonna rip and roar. And so the markets were banking on that. And the markets did rip and roar when he was becoming president. So now you have a repeat of this, except it's not a presumption or assumption. Everybody knows that the market's going to go up once he's president. So now it's going to be even more intense. How the market's going to go up. Anyway, so you have Trump being president, which is going to catapult the S&P for the next few years after that, and then well onto the exponential growth and rate for 10K. Um, yeah. So then that brings us into the other topic. Let me make sure that I got 5 minutes. Okay, cool. Is that yeah, these are some of the factors that I'm eyeing at. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't know. It's probably little and it's probably outside my thinking right now because I can't. I mean, I'm trying to brain dump, but I can't think of everything all at once. But little thing is wealth gap, right? So wealth gap to me is going to be the rich get richer, poor get poorer. If you look at the wealth gap in charts, it's in a huge, tremendous spike. That's only to me starting, and it's going to spike up to an incredible, crazy level, especially with capitalism. I think that's reaching near its peak point and its limitations. Um, and now we're in the exponential non-logical stage, and this from a macro perspective. So for the next 10 years, we're going to be, or next 6, 7, 8 years, we're going to be in a non-logical stage of wealth gap, increasing, 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 as well as our debt and stuff like that. So if you take a look, the last time it did a crazy exponential, when is it going to stop spike? It was back in the last roaring 20s. And then you think about last time it happened, last time 20s. Then you think about what else happened. What comes with wealth gap, right? Rich get richer, poor get poorer. Rich people will start hating poor. Poor people will start hating rich people even more and more and more. And actually, what I said the first time, rich people start hating poor people more, actually happens too. But what does that sound like? That sounds exactly like Gotham City. Like the crime rates go up because poor get poorer. What do you see right now? Petty crime, all time high. Petty crime just starting. These organized crimes, all this stuff, to a point where it's just not even enforceable anymore. What happened in Gotham City? The police. Police were corrupt. Police weren't doing shit. Yada yada yada. Crime was everywhere. Organized crime, mobs, all that stuff. Where do you think mobs in Gotham City and all that stuff were? Mobs was existed or started in the 1920s and really started gaining traction in the 1920s through prohibition. But what do you think Gotham City was based upon? 1920s and the 1930s, mainly 1930s or closer to the Great Depression, but or if not in the Great Depression. But it builds into the case that it becomes the prototypical fucking Gotham City, which is crazy. So Spike shares the same thing. Capital. So we think of capital, we think of money, which at the same time, yes, I think it is, but this kind of ties into this one too. Um, we have a weird situation in that when you pump $2 trillion into an economy and then like we raise our interest rates and yada yada yada, and then we try to pump the money supply out. Let's say at this point, out a year, some later, that we did pump the 2 trillion out. What you can't pump out is the abstract stuff. Is the um, uh, the knowledge, the experience, the systems, the processes, the failures, the wisdom, and not including all the new businesses and everything that was created while the 2 trillion was there as capital and a jumpstart. So you can't remove the abstractual stuff from that 2 trillion. So so 2 trillion in, 2 trillion out, great money supply, but now you have a shitload of more richer people, smarter people, and all this stuff, which perfectly creates the recipes. I mean, you have 10 times more entrepreneurs. that's ready to jump on something that has access to